If anybody doesn't know, we're here because of the Sandy Hook trip to Newtown. We put this together really fast. Everybody jumped in and it was amazing. We went with no plan and couldn't have come out with a better plan. Everybody wrote stories. We're going to let Barb do her story first because get it done.
Because I'm old, I know.
It'll be past her bedtime soon. No, because
really do have to
because after she says hers and everybody cries, then we should be on better track.
Thanks for that build-up and the confidence. Now you have to come in here and stay with me, though. You were my support. So we're going to sit, please. Sit.
Hang on a minute, Jenny.
Well, I can't believe I'm already awake. What a 24 hours I had. I will try to unfold the layers of emotions and events that occurred in those 24 hours. First, it's kind of silly, as Mel and I got the parking ride at White Marsh to meet our 19 other teams heading to Connecticut. I got on the bus, and as I'm walking down to my seat, I hear, "Hey, are you Aunt Barb?" Well, yes, I am an Aunt Barb. One of our team members is a friend of my nephew Brad's. Yes, she told him what she was going to do, and he told her, "Oh, my Aunt Barb and Nala are going to Connecticut." So Ellie, you did a great job. And it was just a nice way to start our 3 a.m. departure for the unknown of Connecticut. Our ride was subdued, considering the hour, and dogs and owners were trying to get as much rest as possible, not knowing the rest of the day would bring. Our bus drivers, 2 of them, were amazing and very patient and didn't seem to mind the dogs at all. We told the drivers we really wanted to be in Connecticut by 9:30 when the bells were to ring. And by the grace of God, we arrived in front of City Hall at 9:25. The very first thing that happened to me was so unexpected, it took my breath away. We got off the bus in rain that was so heavy it was hard to even see. The wind was blowing the flag at half-mast so hard, the hooks were banging against the pole almost in rhythmic song. The camera crews and TV stations were 5 deep. It was maddening. I wondered if this was the right thing to do. I led some of us to the side of the group of people standing in front of City Hall. We didn't want to push our way through, just hang back. Someone made the announcement that the bells would ring 26 times. And with that, the first bell rang. Nala was sitting next to me, soaked through her vest to the bone. I felt a tug on her leash and looked down to see a man, obviously from the media. Don't know what station or group he was with. He was crying so hard, everyone could hear his sobs. He was hugging Nala around the neck. She with her head on his shoulder, just listening. The second and third bells continued. And when all 26 had finished, the man kissed Nala on the head, rose up and looked into my watering eyes and said, "Thank you." He walked away in uncontrollable grief. I turned to go to the bus to see what our next stop would be. Our director was talking to someone when a TV reporter said, "Can I ask you some questions? Did you know that man? Where are you from? Why are you here? What do you think you will accomplish? What do you hope will happen? How long are you here for? What will you do next? Have you ever done anything like this before? What made you decide to do this?" And on and on. And by then there were 2 reporters. The rain still pouring, no umbrellas, just ponchos, which in that kind of rain proved useless. We made our way to the bus and found we were asked to go to the grade school where the children were sent from Sandy Hook. He asked us to also go to the middle and high school in the same area. Loaded with our donations of stuffed animals and beanie babies, we were off. We decided to split into groups of 5 so we could do all 3 schools. We were at the middle school. Our 5 teams entered this school. Kids filled the foyer of the school and hugged our wet, smelly dogs with such love it was hard to miss. Teachers and staff were all waiting for us. We had towels we were trying to dry the dogs with, enough that the kids wouldn't get soaked by hugging them, but no one seemed to mind. They just wanted hugs. We stayed in the main foyer where there were chairs for us and water for the dogs and lots of room for the kids. So between classes, the kids were given a little extra time. By stopping and getting a hug from a dog and a stuffed toy. We spent the morning there with the kids and faculty. Here was my observation. The kids came running to the dogs, eagerly asking questions of each of us about the dogs, telling us about their pets, some saying they wished they could always have their pets with them. Why, I asked the little girl, and she said so her dog would keep her safe. I noticed the adults would fill with tears watching the dogs do their healing magic. When the kids would return to class, the adults would come to the dogs, and they would cry. Kids laugh and talk, adults cry. And all the grief these people were still giving, they were having their holiday lunch made by the PTA. We were asked to eat lunch and had the chance to talk to the faculty. They gave us each a black shirt that a company had donated to them. Every child, teacher, office personnel, maintenance person had one of these black shirts on. It says, "We are Newtown, 12-14-12. The back says peace, strength, hope, unity, love. Support Sandy Hook, Newtown, Connecticut. Heal, courage, prayers, thoughts, faith." What an amazing thing to see everyone in these shirts. It was true of all three schools. We were given angel pins to put on the dog's vest and on our ID badges. These children and faculty were the most amazing people I've ever seen. Next, we went to the fire station, who were the first responders. You can't believe what they were telling us, the nightmares. One firefighter had 2 children in the school. A buddy went in and found the children and walked them to their dad. Dad took them to the fire station with the other children and went to do his job, but not before hugging him with all his might. The firemen were so grateful for the chance to play with the dogs and hug them, some wanting to keep them and others wanting to make sure they spread their love around town. Requesting we walk the long row of 26 Christmas trees that had been purchased from that very firehouse and donated for decorating in memory of the children and faculty. Each person had their own tree, some decorated by classmates of deceased children. So many stuffed toys, an American Girl doll, candles, notes. As we walked the memorial, we went for blocks. We had literally hundreds of people stopping us and petting the dogs, telling us stories, or just thanking us for making the long trip. This is a small community that has endured a tragedy that none of us can imagine. I can't put myself in the frame of mind and say I understand your pain. I can't imagine. The pain and heartache I felt was enough to last a lifetime, yet nothing compared to what this town is going through. And there were hundreds of policemen and firemen and everyday people walking to help, wanting to help, and that were there. Notes and gifts from all over the world, yes, all over the world, were on display for all to see. The firehouse filled with gifts of food and toys. And then while talking to one fireman, he said, "Can you imagine this Christmas for these families? Most have more than the child that is gone. Most have to continue some sort of celebration for the rest of their children. I simply don't know how they'll pull it off." It's now close to 7 p.m., the hour of the candlelight vigil. We walked to the site and saw thousands of people holding candles, some singing with the choir that was there, others just silent. Many, many came to the dogs for comfort, some kneeling and saying a prayer while hugging our dogs, others thanking us. One officer offered all 20 teams a place to stay for the night so we wouldn't have to make the long trip home. Can you imagine? The choir sang. The school administrator spoke of the thankfulness and kindness. The mayor spoke of love and commitment to keep the children safe. Prayers were said, names were read, and lights went out. The vigil took an hour, and it was over. With many stops for one last hug for both human and dog volunteers, we started our trip home. We shared our own stories and thoughts, the sights and sounds of a community in mourning. We know that we touched many hearts. With that in mind, we were blessed to help a small community of wonderful people who could not thank us enough. I too cannot thank all of you enough for your thoughts and prayers, good wishes, contributions of both money and toys. Feel good for your kindness went a long way to healing some broken hearts. One final note, the Harris Bus Company, who in a moment's notice provided us transportation and 2 drivers, called our driver at noontime and told him to tell us he was donating the bus. He said, if these women can take the time this time of year to do something like this, the least I can do is donate the bus, which also included the gas. We were blown away. So anyone who donated money to this cause can be sure it will go to good use in supporting Pets on Wheels efforts in the future. I'm so proud to be a member of this group and the good work they do. Don't ever sell your pets short. They are indeed miracle workers.
Good job. And here's Robin and Baxter. If you're late, you can sit in the front row. It's okay, it's warm.
That's Jilly.
And Jillian, Hershey Bear. And Rocky didn't have fun at all. Rocky can jump bus seats.
Yeah, we found that out in a hurry.
That's the first thing when we came into town.
Stay back up a minute.
When we came into town, that's the first thing, other than seeing the media.
I couldn't remember where that was.
That's right when we came into
Right in the middle
town.
of the street.
And it's,
Before we got to
Main
the,
Street.
that's Main Street. And so the town hall is on our right, the church there on the left.
We literally pulled in,
It was down.
looked over, saw the media trucks, we didn't know where we were going, knew that's where we needed to be since there was something going on, so we yelled, stop the bus went past. We yelled, turn the bus around, and the crazy man did a U-turn in a school bus right there.
in that street.
We got off the bus within minutes to hear the bells toll. If we had had to park those vans that we rented, we would have missed it. That's the town hall.
Yeah. You look good that day. Not every day, but that day you look good.
Yeah, it's true, they all have their moments, but that day,
Every one
every
of them.
dog was perfect.
We are so proud of them all.
I mean, it could have been a disaster if they decided, I didn't want to ride that bus. What do you do when you're 250 miles away? You get out and you stand in New Jersey? I mean,
24 hours with 17 dogs.
yeah. And not a lot of space.
And none of them bark on the bus.
They were like kids towards the end. I want to sleep here. But,
Right.
You got stepped on,
There
you might have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was the
But there was
worst part,
no,
Ben.
there was no real.
When we passed the funeral, I think that
Yeah.
was. and Jillian tried to eat that. Kind of embarrassing. It was a gingerbread house and she just wanted a little bite.
So good, Mom. We got close and personal, didn't we? Didn't we?
And there's your bags of beanies. I mean, what do you have
Yeah,
probably
what was
what?
that,
We probably,
NHS for SHS?
Newtown High School loves Sandy Hook School.
Oh, okay, I got
We're
it.
at the high
yeah,
school.
these were all high school pictures right here.
Yeah, we didn't take any for elementary school. I mean,
This was a good one here. And Dakota is here. And there.
So,
I'm boring you.
when we went
I've
into
seen
the
all this.
school,
I
we
know
went
about
to
this.
the
Dave's got
But I'm saying, when we went into the
Is
school,
that the high school?
that's the elementary.
That's high school.
Yeah.
That's what I figured.
Elementary, yeah.
That's the elementary.
Did the elementary have PJs on that day?
Yeah.
Second grade had pizza.
Oh, okay.
They were having all their little parties.
And that's Jillian and her new friend at the high school.
Yeah, this is how you rolled your shoulder.
Well, no, he's sitting over the seat on the bus.
Yes.
He doesn't have a large bus seat right here. God forbid he missed something back there.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
You look cute there. Now you're not making
You're burping and barking.
Dave, stop in a minute.
back to the
It seemed like wherever we went, the children seemed to be taking everything better than the adults did. Maybe they just didn't, I guess they don't understand.
Where's our shot? It's probably hungry.
Anyone has a dog that is annoying, it's mine.
No, she's right here. No, that's not what it says. And that's more, there's Tyler.
That's the thing too, is the cameramen, like a lot of the news people, they needed the comfort too. They've been there so long dealing with it.
No, probably a lot of these same guys, the firemen and police and everything, the guys that work in Sandy Hook did not have a day off from the time this happened until Christmas Day, and the whole town, the other guys from the other towns covered their shifts from Christmas Day. Nobody who works normally in Sandy Hook works on Christmas. And there we were heading in. a minute, Dave.
That's how you're staying.
If you're late, you have to sit in the front row. This is David Marks, County Councilman. He's the one that got this room for us because dogs aren't really allowed.
So the next photo, I think, is the woman at the fire department there in that red shirt. And she talked to us before she let us leave the fire department. That's the fire department where the kids went to. That's the fire department we're actually at, the second stop. She would not let us leave without a box. People had donated, food and stuff, and they had tables with food for people who were coming in there and helping out. She packed a cardboard box for us to take on the bus to make sure we had
She volunteers her time.
She
Not even a volunteer fire. She
No.
just
They sound alike. They all sound Come here, Mom. Come here, girl.
And this is the truck that we filled with. Dave, back up. Too far.
Your puppet.
There. They had people from all over the world donated stuffed toys, and they had nowhere to put them. Nothing didn't even do with them. So that's what we went there and helped, and we loaded that full of. They said about 100,000 stuffed toys.
They sent, I read in the paper yesterday, they sent 300,000 stuffed animals, toys, games, and stuff to a local Connecticut Children's Hospital.
What did you do with the dogs when you were helping to do that? Where were they?
They helped too.
Some were being held, others just walked with us.
They
Give you one guess involved.
they actually first helped unload a bunch of stuffed
Yeah.
animals. So
Yeah.
in the newspaper, you saw the pictures of all the toys and stuff on the tables in the town hall, maybe. That was all the stuff they helped take off that. And then they reloaded it with stuff from
Yeah, I
upstairs in
didn't
that fire
understand when we were
department.
loading them.
Yeah.
They had a lot of stuff upstairs in the firehouse that we
Yeah,
walked
we
past.
had a
Brigade of,
change
like,
going
20
from the
firemen.
upstairs room all the way down the steps after the truck.
And I know at one point though, I was told, go with them to unload. I look down and I'm just surrounded by police and firemen. And nobody I recognize from Touching Wheels. In the basement.
No
of the
blue
fire
shirts.
hall. I was like, I really hope they don't leave me now.
There are a lot of single guys there, Robin.
I know, and I came up with nothing.
And that was a lot of, all those policemen were not from Newtown either. They were all, the whole row
Stuff
of
with me,
vehicles,
one
I
guy
don't know if you guys
threatened to
looked
give
at
me
the
a
picture,
fireman's
were
carry.
all
There you go.
different police cars.
I take it somebody's following the newspaper. What's the name of the newspaper in that town?
The new
The new one?
Newtown
Beat?
B.
BE, okay. I never thought about going online and looking up that.
Oh, yeah, I guess we did. And there we were in the big firehouse. All that stuff on the floor. Was food that they were giving out. I mean, they were just so swamped with stuff. All that stuff on the floor was all food they were just giving out to
You
people.
notice the dogs
If you
are
came in
well-
to visit, yeah, dogs.
Yep.
If you came to visit, you were leaving with cookies.
They said they had like 1,200 baskets of cookies.
In defense of the puppies, there's a bowl of water there that
Yeah,
They were.
That's true.
It's where Baxter's button is.
But this is the firehouse right in front of Sandy Hook Elementary. This is where the parents met their kids. And most people weren't allowed in there because the public was just trying to get in here. But as soon as they saw us, they said, come on, you know.
Park that bus across the street.
Yeah, and they were quick to do that too. Thank goodness you guys were able to go in.
Not me.
You was able to set it up so we can get over there.
What did the drivers do most of the time? They stay in the bus? or
When we
what?
were here, they came in for a while and then they walked down where their memorials were. I mean, the bus drivers were even teary-eyed when they were done and thanking us for letting them go. Because
When we were in
until you get there, you can't really, I mean, what you see in the paper and on TV,
Also from the high school.
you just have no clue until you're there.
But they needed them at the elementary school. They gave the bus drivers community babies and said, take these down to the elementary school. And they went, okay.
We weren't even on the bus with them.
And shipped the Beanie Babies over. They were just right there the whole time.
They would have done anything.
It was like a miracle that it all worked out the way it did, because if it wasn't for them, then one of us would have been having to hop in the fan and drive all.
Right, all we did was, Jen gathered up some beanies from the high school, threw them back on the bus, the bus driver found another bag on the bus.
Yep.
And they took them, there were what,
And that actually worked out.
360 kids in the elementary school and everybody got a beanie.
When the bus
They
got
had them
back
bagged up
over,
at the end of the day.
when the bus got back over to the elementary school, it was just the right time that they were actually able to bring the
Yeah.
elementary teens back over to high school, pick us up, and then over to the middle school.
Yeah, it's amazing how everything choreographed so well with absolutely no planning.
Our only plan was to go to Sandy Hook.
Yeah.
I tried to get there by 9:30 because something was going to happen at 9:30. We didn't even know what.
And then the bus driver got us there.
And then
All that rain and all that bad weather.
the bus driver did miss an exit. From the back of the bus, all I could hear is, right, go right.
Oh, well, we'll get the next exit.
Yeah. And they memorized that town fast too. Not that it's very big, but
They did.
they
You
were
know,
skilled drivers. You could tell.
Where do you want to go? Oh, across the street from the high school? Okay.
They knew exactly what they were doing at all times.
And that was in the fire hall.
And kudos to Ben and Jen for keeping them on track getting there. Because I had no
yeah.
We
idea.
probably would have been in Florida.
Oh, if it was up to you and I, we would have, because there's no way we'd head north.
Yeah, me, you, and Kathy should be in charge of directions, right, Kathy?
She would be in Florida.
We have a hard enough time getting the right down road.
And again, the dog's hanging by the cookies.
But there's that water bowl.
They
Don't
put
forget
that
the water bowl.
Yes, there was a water bowl next to the cookies. And some of the firemen.
And that thing got raining for about an hour.
Is this all the pictures that were on the Facebook?
Most of them, yeah.
They don't, it looks like there's more than one.
I think there is more.
I didn't put mine, a lot of mine because they were repetitive. I only put the ones with the dogs.
Yeah, I had a lot more than what I posted.
Like the memorials. But they're public, so anybody can see.
And that's at the candlelight vigil.
And just to give some frame of reference, the senior center is first before you take the right. So what he was talking about was that, you know, it was right there before the fire station, so.
One lady told me that the shooter, they think, was actually going to another school, but there's a police car in front of that, because they have a description of his car that went by that school first. Saw the police car and kept going, and Sandy Hook was the next closest.
Oh, yeah, I don't.
He didn't say which school, but
As it goes Howley and then the middle, and the high school is right there. They're like all on that Queen one.
That one long windy road.
so it could easily have been, it could have been any school in this
Yeah,
country.
I think the high school is right across from it, wasn't it? Like,
I don't know, Ben, we think, 11,
I don't know. I know I read in an
we
article
think about it, you're right.
where it lived, but I don't quite.
but that Reed Academy is right there.
It could have been any of them.
The officer is actually the former police commissioner. We put a hurting on them.
Say, yeah, there's those pretzels. I recognize that lid anywhere.
There's pretzels with the Hershey Kiss on top.
Oh, those were good.
They made their rounds around the bus.
I miss that, when you're seeing that.
And that was in the high school. And we were there at the very end of when they were leaving for winter break, and that was on the announcements with that sign that Zip By there said.
Was it the high school that you had some problems getting into?
It was the elementary school.
We started at the elementary school. What I did, I went inside and I was talking to the secretary and said, you know, this is for, and she's like, I can't just let you in. I can't just let you in. Who sent you over here? And I was like, I know you're doing your job, but you know, we want to help out. We want to just provide the love. And is there someone else I can talk to, or is there, you know, somewhere else we should go? Give us some suggestions. Just point us in the right direction. You can't use us here. Where can you use us? And so there was another woman. There was another woman in the office. The secretary was doing her job. And what I was told, I don't know if anyone else saw on Facebook, that a woman responded to my post and said that secretary had just come to Howley Elementary about 4 months prior from Sandy Hook. She was the secretary at Sandy Hook. And so she was just, you know, she was guarding her kids. I can't let you in the door. I can't let you do this. And I said, okay, well, just point us in the right direction. Do you have a phone number to the rec center? Do you have a phone number to the high school? Just give me something. And so this other woman in there, she said, okay, I'll give you some numbers. I'll call over the high school, see if you can go, whatnot. Just as she's doing that, the principal comes out of her office from a meeting, and the woman goes, princess, principal, you know, this is a woman.
Joanne something or other.
Yeah, she's like, you know, they came with dogs, and the principal just went, oh my God, thank God you're here. I've been hoping you guys would come. We don't have any animals here. How many teams do you have? And I said, well, I have 20. How many do you need? She goes, I can't take that many. She goes, how about, you know, 4 or 5 teams? We ended up sending 6 teams in. And
What school
she
was
was
this,
just
the elementary?
Howley Elementary.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
that was my fault that we had 6.
it's okay though.
Because that
Yeah.
same woman came that told us to
The
go
parent,
there.
right?
Yeah, came on the bus and was like, oh my God, my son wants a dog just like Rocky. So how could I not go? And I wound up staying because we got in the classroom and like 20 kids were instantly like on his
She said, I'm
head
going to
and
run in for
loving
5 minutes. And she goes in, and then we're texting her, are you coming back? Oh, I think I'm going to stay.
him. Yeah, there was no way I was pulling him out of there.
Yeah. So the principal said, yes, stay, and they had everybody sign in, and we left 6 kids there. And then the other secretary said, okay, the high school wants you. I said, okay, and by the time I went out to the bus and told 5 teams to come in and came back in myself, she goes, oh wait, don't leave. They want you to split in half, and the middle school wants half, and the high school. So it was like, when I walked in, it was, I don't know if this is gonna, you know, if I can help you guys out to go here, go here, go here. Something was guiding us. Something was guiding us.
And we got there at the right time because dismissal was at noon that day because winter break.
And even with the high school, when the kids got out of class and they were all going to the buses started pulling up, I swear there was probably a good 30 kids who must have been drivers. You know, they must have had their own cars.
Yeah, because most of them were
they were in
gone.
that school like an hour after school got out, you know, just sitting there loving on the dogs.
And they just handed us a deli platter here.
When we went to leave, who was with me when we went to leave? When we went to leave, they're like, what are you guys doing? Where are you going? Did you eat? Well, yeah, we're going to go find a little place. Well, it turns out in Newtown, there really isn't any little place to stop and eat.
There's no McDonald's.
Yeah, we have to go down like an exit or 2 to get to fast food.
We had somebody who told us that she would pay for a fast food meal for everybody on the bus, and there was no fast food meal in Newtown.
Which was a blessing.
They were
Yeah,
pushing
really.
a cart of food, and they said, there's so much food down there, go get some. So we took a group and went down, and there tons of food and drinks and everything, and I was so surprised. I stopped and I said, I need to say something to you all. And they all stopped and looked at me and I'm like, you know, we came up here to spread the love and support you guys, and all you've done is give it back to us. You know, we wanted to do something for you, and you have done so much more for us, and our volunteers are so much more filling than, I don't know, it's just been the best experience that I've had. And I think I've 2-3 years now I've been with Pets on Wheels, and it's always
Well, actually, for
Great.
rescreens, it's been at least 3.
3, that's right, 3 years. And, you know, this has been the most filling experience because of all the love that town is putting out.
Even the principal at the high school, as they were leaving their announcements, the principal said, you know, you got some homework to do on your break.
Put the lights on.
And, he said, you know, do something good for yourself, but, you know, more importantly, do something good for somebody else. And, you know, with that, and then he said their little slogan about Mayor, strength and resilience be, you know, a symbol for everybody else, you know? Which I just thought, you know, just went along with the whole experience, that it was just a genuine gratitude, you know, and it was a culture. It wasn't something they just started to do after this happened.
Just even down at the memorial service, you know, like downtown, I don't know if you guys all noticed, there was 2 young teenage girls, and they walked past us once. I was talking to a woman from ABC World News, and they had this big bundle of candy. They were just walking around handing out candy, and then they came by with these big sugar cookies. And the woman from ABC News said these girls have been here every day baking these cookies and decorating these cookies for everybody here, just handing them out for free. And, you know, I think it's right. Like, you know, you find that when you go do something like this, you end up getting a lot more than what you possibly can give. And just the amount of energy that these people put in taking care of everybody that came through. At first I felt really bad. I was like, this isn't supposed to happen. Like, but then I realized that maybe that's what they need to do right now for themselves. We're all here, and you know, that's how they can, you know, I like to keep busy. If I'm stressed or upset, I like to keep busy, and so it made me not feel quite so bad.
In the high school, one of the teachers said that the kids in the high school don't realize that they're actually the victims, part of what happened, that the kids aren't seeing themselves that way, and a few of them took it upon themselves to make their own t-shirts. Vicki has one on, and
The high school kids made these
the
shirts.
high school kids made them and sold them, and all the money was going to the
Angels of Sandy.
so yeah, it was one of the
fund.
funds.
It would be split between all the families,
Right.
but because you hear scholarship fund and then Angels for Sandy Hook, so there's a couple of them going around.
And
But
there were a couple of different T-shirts that were being made, but it was amazing to see that the teachers knew the kids should be affected in one way. Like they said, you know, before, the kids were resilient and they wanted to be part of the solution and making things better than being a victim.
I know at the
It's
middle
impressive.
school when we were getting ready to leave, one of the florists, the local florist in town, had donated bouquets of flowers to each of the teachers in the middle school. And we were getting ready to leave, and the principal came out and gave the 5 teams that were there, 4 teams, a bouquet, and then realized she was one short and went and got Kathy a poinsettia. And I went, trade ya? No, just kidding. But again, it was, we need to give you back something. And that was so clear, I think, everywhere we went, everything we did. While there was gratitude and thank you for coming, they really felt the need to give back to us. And it was amazing to see that
And you're right.
everywhere.
And we had the kids in the we had people elementary, middle, and high school, and we didn't know what was going on at each of the other schools. So when I was leaving the high school, I said, okay, we need enough sandwiches so when we pick up the other teams, we can make sure they all eat too. So when we picked them up, they're like, no, we ate.
Yeah.
And then you guys sit there, oh, no, we
They had
ate.
pulled pork, we had sandwiches.
We had about 30 items.
Yeah, they had a sit-down dinner. We grabbed a tray and went out the door.
And the pulled pork was to die for.
Oh, my goodness.
In the middle school, the PTA had provided food for the teachers, and they had plenty. There was just, tons and tons of different types of food, and they said, come on in and have whatever you want. And
Yeah,
barbecue beef was great.
That's common in middle school.
I wanted to tell you
One
that,
thing I wanted to say about the middle school, about the principal. I was not totally sold. Having been a teacher in my favorite grade when I finally retired, I did middle school the whole time, but last 3 years I did elementary, and my favorite grade was first grade. I mean, I had such super kids all those years. They would do anything you wanted to do. But when I went in, I saw they were finishing up a music assembly. I knew that boy coming with black pants and a white shirt ripping off his tie. I just guessed that's what it was, because most schools have that right before the holiday. And he said, yep. And he's come running down the dogs. As I'm going to the office, I think first we should introduce ourselves to the principal and say, what do you want us to do? But we didn't get that far. And finally, in the commotion, the principal came out, and I said, I'm really sorry. I said, we were on our way to ask you where we should go and how you wanted to handle this, but we didn't have a chance. She said, don't be sorry. She said, look at the face of those kids right down here. She said, those kids have only smiled one other time this week, and that was Tuesday when the servicemen came with the golden retriever. She said, this is only the second time this week these kids have smiled, so don't be sorry at all. We're glad to have you. And that sealed it for me as to whether we should have.
Because, I mean, this isn't a poor town. You know, they didn't need money, they didn't need anything like that, they just needed that.
I think the average house is sold for like over $400,000.
I'm not surprised.
They were nice houses.
Yeah, one of the teachers told us their family couldn't afford to live in Newtown. They lived in the next town over. What was it? You were with me, Jen.
Yeah, she said her husband, they were at a store and someone said, would you like to make a donation
right.
for Sandy Hook? And her husband looked and went, I make enough of a donation with my wife every day to the school system of Newtown. So that's my donation. So
I wanted to
Yeah,
say
the
that we
kids from
have,
the middle school came to the vigil and came back and saw us, even though we were standing way back. They all came back, and they remembered all the dogs' names.
the high school kids too.
And then they went and got their parents, and brought their parents over to me.
Well, Mom, this is Jillian.
And that was the nice thing about going to the vigil.
it just wrapped up the day.
It allowed the parents to also meet the dogs that their kids were talking about. So it kind of allowed, that way the children and the parents had a connection and something that could be discussed, which could open the door to other things. So it's really
It shows
good.
you what a small town it really is.
Yeah, it does.
But Jen had something.
Yes.
I've been fortunate enough, I think, to make a lifelong friend. Sam and I, the lieutenant from the fire department, Ryan Clark, has been in contact with me. We've had several conversations. And he's 23 years old, and he was one of the first responders. And
Is that the boy that was on the floor that we saw all night long?
No, he was high school.
no, I'm talking about the lieutenant at the fire
The
department.
one that's a high school.
He said to let everyone know how grateful they were that we
Not
came,
you.
and he knew that, we didn't need to do it, but they were very appreciative. And he wanted to let us know that as soon as something comes up where we can be needed again, he'll be sure, to
Oh, that's fantastic.
Because we
Let
didn't
us
get enough
know.
donations to cover the trip, and the trip didn't cost us anything.
Yeah, well, he said that it was just enough of a distraction for him, to having these dogs there, to just separate just for a little bit from the tragedy that happened. And guess where he spent New Year's Eve? Baltimore.
Really?
No, I didn't see him, little stinker. He sent me a picture, and he said, look at the porta potty in the back. This is Baltimore. And I said, hey, what's that supposed to mean? He said, it's just dirty water, that's all. I'm like,
Had to
okay.
be downtown.
He was. He was at the Inner Harbor.
Yeah.
He's at the Inner Harbor.
I said, why on earth are you down here? He said, just enough to get away from.
And even Lisa Geiger at the Avenue at White Marsh, we do a holiday parade with her. She just saw on Facebook, you know, we're friends, but she saw on Facebook, I didn't ask her to help, she contacted all the merchants. Birkenstock and Spoiled Rotten Canine over there decided they would help. They were the drop-off centers for Beanie Babies. They put it on their Facebook page and on their websites. People were dropping off all day. By the time I got there, there was cash. Lisa had cash for me. I had a $100 bill. She's like, I'm afraid to even hold this. You know, so she jumped in without asking. I emailed Terry from Walmart. I said, can we have water and ice for the trip? Yep, come get it. Didn't even go through checkout, put it in the cart, walked right out the front door with him, and out we did. And then we couldn't find a place to have this meeting, so I called this guy.
Yeah, and I just want to thank you. I'm not going to give a politician's speech, but just say thank you. You did a great job. A lot of you take time off work to do this, and it's
Right in the
great.
middle of Christmas
Yeah,
season.
I mean, it's great to see the outpouring of love and support from this community. I've got to run home to my kids, but I just want to say thank you.
Thanks for getting it all for us, but we need this for ourselves.
Because this room is not normally dog friendly.
But we did.
You need your dog park.
We need our dog park.
When we get to dog park,
Okay, you're getting there.
we're
But
getting
we
there.
did.
We have 18,000, we need
No.
150, we're close.
Make it easier than
Closer
Robert
than you've ever
and you
been.
to pay your
Yeah.
dues.
We'll get there.
So that'll be easy. I'm not worried about that part. All right.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, David. Happy New Year.
No, you're staying, kid.
No, you're not going home with David. He doesn't like you.
No. We have 4 cats.
She likes cats.
They're members of the
She likes cats. Right, Nala? Yeah, you don't care. There is some iced tea and lemonade for everyone if you care to get some.
And all the dogs here went on the trip. So, Zoe's got a new friend?
Yeah. I don't know about yours, but Sammy's, she did have Abby and Abby the next day.
I would just like to say, Ted and I and Paduce, we're kind of new to this group. We just came in September. But trying to follow what you were doing, this was an incredibly brave thing. Incredibly brave. And I'm just really proud to be part of a group that would be this brave.
Well, thank you. And then poor Jen couldn't go because she had to work, but was up the whole time we were. We were texting her, we were sending pictures, and she was putting on Facebook. So the poor girl who couldn't go because she had to work, I knew she didn't get anything done at work.
She also told us she was going to bed at one point, and that didn't happen either.
Yeah, she said goodnight, and then I said we got the bus donated, and she's back up again. And that's okay. We didn't find out about the bus until about midnight. We were at a Burger King of all places, and
I know, that was so weird.
Harry, it was the Burger King at a rest stop.
We were down at every
I think so, and Harry walked up, I think he walked up, he
I
said,
thought we were going
who's
to get
gonna,
left.
well, didn't he say, like, who's paying the bill?
Who's
Yeah,
paying?
he said,
Said-
who's paying the bill? And I'm like, I'll call JR tomorrow, I swear. I thought he was going to leave us at the restaurant.
Then he said,
I started apologizing. He's
so
like,
no, JR said that he's going to donate the bus and the gas, and
And the
all of us
driver.
in line
And the driver.
started crying, and I'm thinking, okay, people are looking at us saying, this food's bad, but you don't have to cry. Really, you don't have to cry.
And he
We're all
had kept
sitting
that
there.
secret since
Noon time, he knew, he settled that.
12
Yes.
hours.
he'd known since
He was
noon.
busting to tell us, that's why he came in Burger King. I don't know why he
He
chose
wasn't
that.
going to get a Whopper. He wouldn't eat. They came and got something to drink.
He got something to drink.
On the bus.
That's all he wanted.
Bus drivers
Oh,
I've
yeah.
ever met.
Yeah, they were pretty
And the first thing they said to us was, our children that we drive, they think we're mean. So we're just letting you know, we're really not mean. But our kids think we're mean. And
If
she
you
was
would have
like,
heard,
they weren't.
if you would have heard him when we got off that bus, and I gave him envelopes, which we had collected some donations to give to the bus drivers for their efforts, and he gave me a hug, and tears started streaming down his face. He said, I got to tell you, I am honored that I was chosen to drive this bus. He said, I have never done anything like this. He said, JR wanted to know what you were all doing all day long, and I kept telling him.
We
He
didn't know
said,
JR had been following on Facebook all day.
and
I didn't know that until a couple days later when I called JR to thank him. And JR's this young guy. Boy, he was uncomfortable with that phone call.
Did you know him